I opened my laptop after a long day at work, ready to fix my wife Amanda's computer issues. What I found instead changed everything. Her browser was logged into a Gmail account I had never seen before, and the preview showed something that made my heart stop. Photos. Hundreds of them. All of my ex-girlfriend Sophia. Folders meticulously organized by date, location, and even outfits. My stomach turned as I scrolled through what could only be described as an obsessive collection. 5 years of what I thought was a perfect marriage suddenly felt like a lie. The woman sleeping peacefully in our bedroom was a stranger to me. Before I tell you how I discovered what my wife was really up to with these photos, let me know where you are watching from, and hit that like and subscribe button so you do not miss what happened next. Sophia and I met during college. We were both computer science majors, with a shared passion for video games and hiking on weekends. Our relationship lasted 4 years, and for most of that time I believed she was the one. We complemented each other perfectly. She was outgoing and spontaneous, pulling me out of my comfort zone while I provided the stability and planning she sometimes lacked. The breakup was not dramatic or filled with betrayal. Sophia received a job offer from a prestigious tech company across the country. We tried long distance for 3 months, but eventually agreed that our careers were taking us in different directions. The decision hurt, but it was mutual. We promised to stay friends and occasionally exchange text messages on birthdays or when something reminded us of shared memories. I moved on with my life, focusing on my career at a software development company in Austin. That is where I met Amanda, at a technology conference. She approached me after my presentation on cybersecurity, asking thoughtful questions that showed genuine interest in my work. She was brilliant with a warm smile that made conversations flow easily. Amanda worked in digital marketing, and her understanding of both technology and human psychology fascinated me. Our first date was at a small Italian restaurant downtown. I remember being surprised by how comfortable I felt, sharing personal stories with her. By our third date, I had told her about Sophia. Amanda listened attentively, asking questions without judgment. She even joked that she was grateful to Sophia for teaching me important relationship lessons before we met. After a year of dating, I proposed to Amanda during a weekend trip to the Texas Hill Country. The sunset painted the sky in pink and orange hues as she said yes. We were married 6 months later, in a small ceremony, with close friends and family. My parents immediately took to Amanda, often commenting on how she brought out the best in me. The first 5 years of our marriage were everything I could have hoped for. We bought a small house in a quiet neighborhood, created traditions like Sunday morning pancakes, and started planning for children. I genuinely believed we had the kind of relationship others envied. Amanda supported my career moves, and I cheered her on as she rose to become marketing director at her company. Looking back, there were subtle changes I should have noticed. About 8 months ago, Amanda began working later than usual. She explained it was a big project with tight deadlines, which made perfect sense given her recent promotion. Her phone became a constant companion, and I occasionally noticed her quickly switching screens when I entered the room. At the time, I dismissed these observations, chalking them up to work stress or planning a surprise for our upcoming anniversary. One particular moment stands out now. We ran into a college friend who asked about Sophia, mentioning he had seen her featured in a technology magazine for her innovative work. Amanda tensed beside me, her fingers gripping her glass a little tighter. When we got home, she asked casual questions about whether I kept up with Sophia's career achievements. I answered honestly that we occasionally exchanged congratulatory messages, but nothing beyond that. Amanda nodded and changed the subject, but there was something in her expression I could not quite read. Last Tuesday, Amanda called from work, her voice tinged with frustration. Her laptop was running extremely slowly, and she had an important presentation the following morning. She asked if I could take a look when she got home. I agreed, happy to help with something in my wheelhouse. That evening after dinner, Amanda handed me her laptop and went to take a shower. I opened it expecting to find the usual culprits like too many browser tabs or applications running in the background. What I discovered instead was far more concerning. While clearing cache and checking for malware, a notification popped up from a Gmail account with a username I did not recognize. The preview contained just enough text to see Sophia's name and the word update. My finger hovered over the notification. I had never invaded Amanda's privacy before, but something about this felt wrong. The email was not from Amanda's regular account, and seeing my ex-girlfriend's name sent warning signals through my body. I hesitated, hearing the shower still running. I told myself I would just check this one thing to make sure nothing suspicious was happening. Little did I know this decision would unravel the carefully constructed reality of my marriage. With trembling hands, I clicked on the email notification. It opened to a Gmail account with a username completely unrelated to any of Amanda's usual online identities. The interface loaded to reveal an inbox, primarily consisting of notifications from social media platforms, news alerts about tech companies, and what appeared to be self-sent emails with subject lines like new photos and location. Update. The shower was still running, giving me a narrow window to investigate. I clicked on the most recent new photos email, and what I found made my blood run cold. Attached were screenshots from Sophia's Instagram story, posted just hours earlier, showing her at a tech conference in Seattle. My eyes darted to the date stamps on previous emails, revealing this had been going on for at least 2 years. My heart racing, I navigated to the Google Photos section of the account. Organized into dozens of meticulously labeled albums were hundreds of photos of Sophia. Some were clearly pulled from her public social media accounts, while others seemed to be screenshots from LinkedIn company websites and even local news articles featuring her professional achievements. The level of organization was what disturbed me most. Albums labeled work events, personal life, fashion, and fitness contained carefully categorized images. There was even a folder titled With Friends that contained photos of Sophia with various people, many with notes attached speculating about relationships. I clicked on an album labeled Timeline and found photos arranged chronologically from our college days to the present. Some of these were pictures I did not even know existed, including some from group outings, where Sophia had been present but not the focus. Someone had clearly gone through years of social media to find and extract any image containing her. My hands were shaking as I discovered another folder labeled Connections. Opening it revealed screenshots of every interaction between Sophia and me that was visible online. Comments on each other's social media posts, professional congratulations, and even a group photo from a mutual friend's wedding 3 years ago where we had briefly chatted. Below this digital archive was a folder simply labeled Notes. I clicked it open to find scanned pages from what appeared to be a physical notebook. The handwriting was unmistakably Amanda's, but the content made my skin crawl. Detailed analyses of Sophia's appearance, career trajectory, and apparent lifestyle were written in the dispassionate tone of a researcher studying a subject. Comparisons between herself and Sophia filled several pages with lists of perceived advantages and disadvantages in categories ranging from physical appearance to intelligence to social connections. The browser history on this account told an equally disturbing story. Regular searches for Sophia's name, her company, her address, and her colleagues created a comprehensive surveillance operation. Amanda had even set up Google Alerts to notify her whenever Sophia was mentioned online. With a growing sense of dread, I clicked on a document titled Plan Saved in the Google Drive associated with the account. It contained a detailed itinerary for a trip to Seattle scheduled for the following month. Amanda had told me this was a marketing conference, but the document revealed the true purpose to visit Sophia's workplace and possibly engineer a coincidental meeting. The most alarming discovery came when I found emails sent from this account to Sophia's company, where Amanda had posed as a recruiter from a competing firm. The emails inquired about Sophia's potential interest in changing positions, seemingly attempting to gather information about her career satisfaction and future plans. I heard the shower turn off and quickly navigated back to the malware scan I had started, my mind reeling from what I had discovered. As Amanda walked into the room wrapped in a towel, I forced a smile and mentioned finding a few issues that were slowing down her system. "Were you able to fix it?" she asked, toweling her hair dry. "I think so," I managed to reply, my voice surprisingly steady despite the chaos in my head. Just had to clear some cache and remove a few background processes. Should run better now. "You are the best," she said, leaning down to kiss my cheek before heading to the bedroom to change. I sat frozen, staring at the laptop screen. The woman I had shared my life with for 5 years had been secretly obsessing over my ex-girlfriend, creating an elaborate surveillance system, and potentially planning some kind of confrontation. The implications were staggering, and I had no idea what to do with this information. That night I lay awake beside Amanda, studying her peaceful, sleeping face and wondering how well I really knew her. Every memory of our relationship was now called into question. Had she approached me at that conference because she already knew about Sophia? Was our entire relationship built on some kind of obsession or competition? I knew nothing about sleep evaded me as questions multiplied in my mind. By morning I had made one decision: I needed to confront Amanda with what I had found. The alternative, pretending I knew nothing while constantly looking over my shoulder, was unthinkable. I waited until the weekend to confront Amanda. The 2 days in between were excruciating, trying to maintain normalcy while carrying this heavy knowledge. I caught myself analyzing her every word and gesture, looking for other signs I might have missed over the years. Amanda seemed to notice my distraction, but attributed it to work stress when she asked if everything was okay. Saturday morning, we were having coffee on our back porch, a weekend ritual we had maintained since buying the house. Amanda was scrolling through her phone while I gathered my courage. Finally, I set my mug down with enough force to make her look up. "We need to talk about something serious," I said, my voice surprisingly calm despite my racing heart. Amanda put her phone down, giving me her full attention. "What is it? You have been acting strange for days." I took a deep breath and decided to be direct. I found the other Gmail account, the one with all the photos and information about Sophia. The color drained from her face so quickly, I thought she might faint. Her mouth opened and closed without words, eyes darting as if looking for an escape route. In that moment of unfiltered shock, I knew with certainty that everything I had discovered was real. "I do not know what you are talking about," she finally said, but her voice wavered unconvincingly. "Please do not lie to me," I replied, maintaining eye contact. "When I was fixing your laptop, I saw the notification. I clicked on it and found everything. The photos, the notes, the plans to go to Seattle. All of it." Amanda's defensive posture collapsed like a house of cards. Her shoulders slumped and tears welled in her eyes. "You were not supposed to see that," she whispered. "That is what you are concerned about. That I was not supposed to see it." I felt anger rising for the first time. "Amanda, you have been secretly obsessing over my ex-girlfriend for years. You have hundreds of photos of her. You have been tracking her life, her career, her whereabouts. You even contacted her company under false pretenses. What the hell is going on?" Amanda's tears were flowing freely now. "I can explain. It is not what you think." "Then, what is it? Because from where I am sitting, it looks like you have been living a double life, lying to me every day for years." She wiped at her tears, gathering herself before speaking. "It started innocently. After we got engaged, I was curious about her. You had been together for 4 years, and I just wanted to know more about the woman you had loved before me. That might explain looking her up once or twice. Not creating an entire secret account dedicated to monitoring her life," I countered. Amanda nodded, accepting the point. "At first it was just curiosity, but then I saw how successful she was becoming. All those achievements, all that recognition in her field. She was so beautiful and accomplished. I started to wonder why you had settled for me when you could have had her. We broke up because she moved across the country. It was mutual. I told you this." "I know what you told me," Amanda said, a hint of bitterness creeping into her voice. "But I also saw how your eyes lit up whenever her name was mentioned. I saw how quickly you would respond when she reached out to you." I shook my head in disbelief. "That is completely in your imagination. We barely communicate." "That is not true." Amanda's voice rose suddenly. 3 years ago, when she texted you about her promotion, you spent 20 minutes crafting the perfect response. You never spend that long texting anyone, not even me. The specific example stunned me. Had she been watching me that closely all this time? You have been monitoring my communications. I asked, the implications becoming clearer. Amanda looked down, guilt evident on her face. Sometimes, when I felt especially insecure, which appears to be constantly based on what I found. She nodded miserably. It became an obsession. I know that. At first, I just wanted to make sure I was not losing you. Then it became about comparing myself to her, figuring out how I could be better. Before I knew it, I was checking for updates about her every day, cataloging everything. And the trip to Seattle, what exactly were you planning to do? Amanda hesitated before answering. I just wanted to see her in person, to know what I was up against. Up against, I echoed, incredulous. Amanda, we have been married for 5 years. There is no competition here. Is there not? Her eyes met mine, filled with both tears and challenge. Can you honestly tell me you have never compared us? That you have never wondered what life would have been like if you had followed her instead? The question hit harder than I expected. Not because the answer was yes, but because it revealed how deeply Amanda's insecurity ran, how fundamentally she had misunderstood our relationship. I chose you, I said firmly. I asked you to marry me because I love you, not because Sophia was unavailable. The fact that you think otherwise makes me wonder if you know me at all. Or if you know me, she countered. This is who I am, Eliot. Someone who is terrified of losing the person she loves more than anything. So terrified that you created an elaborate surveillance operation instead of talking to me about your feelings. So terrified that you were willing to lie to me daily. She had no answer for that. How long have you been checking my phone? I asked suddenly, realizing this likely went beyond the secret email account. Amanda's silence confirmed my suspicion. Have you been reading all my messages? Checking my emails, my call history? Not all the time, she whispered. Just sometimes when you seemed distant or when you mentioned her name. I stood up, needing physical distance as the magnitude of the breach of trust became clear. Do you have any idea what this means for us? For our marriage, you violated my privacy and my trust in the most fundamental way possible. I know, she said, her voice small. I knew it was wrong, but I could not stop. It was like the more information I gathered, the more I needed. And what did all this surveillance tell you? Did you find what you were looking for? Evidence that I was somehow betraying you? No, she admitted. Nothing. But that just made me more determined to keep looking. I ran my hands through my hair, trying to process everything. This is not normal behavior, Amanda. This is not what people do in healthy relationships. I know I need help, she said quietly. I have known for a while, but I was afraid of what would happen if I admitted it. Looking at her tear-stained face, I felt a confusing mix of anger, betrayal, and concern. The woman I had married was clearly struggling with serious issues that had gone unaddressed throughout our relationship. Part of me wanted to comfort her, while another part wanted to walk out the door and never look back. I do not know what happens next, I told her honestly. I need time to think about what this means for us. Are you going to leave me? The naked fear in her voice was palpable. I do not know, I answered, unwilling to make promises I might not keep. But I know I cannot stay in the house tonight. I will get a hotel room. We both need space to figure out our next steps. As I packed an overnight bag, Amanda sat on the edge of our bed, watching silently. The woman who had always seemed so confident and put together now looked small and broken. Before leaving, I turned to her with one last question. Did you ever contact Sophia directly? Did you ever threaten or harass her in any way? No, Amanda said firmly. I never crossed that line. I only watched from a distance. It was the one reassurance I needed before walking out the door into an uncertain future. The days following my discovery were among the most difficult of my life. I extended my hotel stay for a week, needing time and distance to sort through my feelings. Amanda's betrayal cut deep, challenging everything I thought I knew about our marriage. During our separation, we communicated primarily through text messages, agreeing to give each other space while deciding how to move forward. I spent the first 2 days in a haze of anger and confusion, replaying memories from our relationship and questioning which moments had been genuine and which had been influenced by her secret obsession. The third day, something shifted inside me. Beyond the hurt, I recognized that Amanda's behavior indicated serious psychological issues that required professional help. After careful consideration, I made 3 important decisions. First, I needed to warn Sophia about the situation. Second, I would seek legal advice to understand my options. Third, I would insist Amanda get professional help if there was any chance of saving our marriage. The call to Sophia was uncomfortable, but necessary. I gave her a measured account of what had happened, emphasizing that while Amanda had been monitoring her online presence, there was no evidence of plans to cause harm. Sophia was understandably disturbed, but thanked me for the warning. She agreed to increase her privacy settings and remain vigilant. The maturity with which she handled the news reminded me of why we had been able to remain on good terms after our breakup. "I am so sorry you are going through this, Eliot," she said before ending our call. "For what it is worth, I always thought Amanda was lucky to have you." The conversation with a family lawyer helped clarify my options. She advised documenting everything and suggested that while Amanda's behavior was concerning, it did not necessarily mean our marriage was beyond repair if both parties were committed to addressing the underlying issues. After a week of separation, I arranged to meet Amanda at a neutral location, a quiet coffee shop we rarely visited. She looked exhausted with dark circles under her eyes and a nervous energy that manifested in constantly rearranging the sugar packets on the table. "I have given this a lot of thought," I began, after we had both gotten our drinks. "What you did violated my trust in a profound way. I am hurt, angry, and honestly frightened by the extent of your deception." Amanda nodded, accepting my words without defense. "That said, I also believe there are serious underlying issues here that you have been struggling with alone, issues that need professional attention." "I started seeing a therapist," she said quietly. 3 sessions so far. She thinks I have anxiety and possibly obsessive tendencies that went unchecked for too long. This surprised me, but in a positive way. That is a good first step. "I know it does not fix anything," Amanda added quickly, "but I want you to know I am taking this seriously. What I did was wrong and I need help to make sure I never do anything like it again." I contacted Sophia. I told her, watching carefully for her reaction. Amanda paled but nodded. She deserved to know. "I am sorry I put you in that position. I also spoke with a lawyer," I continued. "Not because I have decided on divorce, but because I needed to understand my options." "And what are you thinking?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I took a deep breath. "I am thinking we need time apart, not just a week, but months. I am going to stay with my brother for a while. During that time, I want both of us to be in individual therapy. If after 3 months, we both want to try to rebuild our relationship, we can start couples counseling." Relief flooded her face at the realization that I was not immediately filing for divorce. "I will do whatever it takes, Eliot. I know I broke your trust, and I know it will take time to earn it back if I even can. There are conditions," I added firmly. "Complete transparency with your therapist about everything that happened. No contact with Sophia in any form. Delete the secret account completely. And I need access to your devices until I feel I can trust you again." Some might consider my last condition ironic, given that invasion of privacy was at the heart of our problem. But rebuilding trust sometimes requires temporary measures that would be unhealthy in a normal relationship. Amanda agreed to everything without hesitation. "I understand why you need these assurances. I will do all of it." The next 6 months were a journey neither of us could have anticipated. Living separately gave me the space to process my feelings without the daily pressure of trying to repair our relationship. My own therapy sessions helped me recognize warning signs I had missed and understand how my communication style had sometimes unintentionally fed Amanda's insecurities. Amanda committed fully to her treatment, attending twice-weekly therapy sessions and joining a support group for people with similar obsessive behaviors. She maintained complete transparency about her progress and setbacks, sharing her insights from therapy without expectation or pressure. Gradually, we began spending time together again, first in public places for short periods, then longer visits, as comfort and trust slowly rebuilt. 5 months into our separation, we started couples counseling, creating a safe space to address the damage to our relationship and establish healthier patterns for the future. What surprised me most during this process was discovering my own role in our dysfunctional dynamic. While Amanda's actions were clearly wrong, my tendency to avoid difficult conversations and keep emotions private had created an environment where her anxieties could flourish unaddressed. Our therapist helped us develop better communication skills, with Amanda learning to express insecurities directly instead of monitoring from the shadows, and me learning to share my emotional world more openly. Today we are still working on our marriage. We live together again, but with clear boundaries and ongoing therapeutic support. Amanda has made remarkable progress in managing her anxiety and obsessive tendencies. I have learned to be more attentive to subtle changes in her mental state and to create space for difficult conversations before insecurities can take root. Trust rebuilds slowly like a muscle that must be exercised carefully after injury. There are still moments when I wonder if I have made the right choice, if complete healing is possible after such a fundamental breach. But then I see the genuine work Amanda has done to change the person she is becoming through her commitment to growth, and I find reasons to continue our journey together. Now, when people ask me if trust can be rebuilt, I tell them it is not about going back to what was, but building something stronger with clear eyes. What would you do if you discovered someone you loved had been living a double life right under your nose? Would you try to rebuild or walk away? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We all face betrayals in life, large and small, and sharing our experiences helps others feel less alone in their struggles. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember that sometimes the most painful discoveries can lead to unexpected healing.